Cameron Chardukian here, and we're coming at you on a rainy day here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And what I want to talk to you about in this video is why you shouldn't buy a house in your early 20s. And it's very, very, very simple. I've been to many cities in my life. I've been to Singapore, I've been to Hong Kong, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Saigon, Dallas, Racine, Wisconsin, Chicago. I've been to many cities in my life. And even now, I don't feel ready to buy a house somewhere. And why is that? Well, part of that is because I have kind of a wandering spirit. You may have that too. But even if you're not the type of person that you think that you're always going to want to be traveling around all the time, I still don't recommend buying a house in your early 20s because of a couple things. Number one, you don't know what kind of ladder you're trying to climb for your career, perhaps. Perhaps you don't know. So maybe you don't know, well, maybe this city is good for this industry, or this city is not good for this industry. So if you're not quite exactly sure what industry and what kind of career ladder you're trying to climb, or what kind of business you're trying to start, it may not be wise to buy a house, because then you could be stuck with a house in a market that is not ideal for the skills you're developing. The other big thing though, just practically speaking, just about life in general, is that until you've traveled, until you've gone to a couple countries, you've lived in a number of cities, or at the very least, you've seen a dozen cities, you've seen a couple dozen cities, you won't really know what kind of city you want to live in. You might have this idealized image of living by the beach, and then you realize living by the beach maybe feels a little bit too touristy to you, and that you're sick of people trying to sell you things, or you feel that the being by the beach would be cool, but that you just get sick of the heat. Or you think that living in some place like New York is so cool, but then you realize all the taxes and the high cost of living just gets annoying. So that's what I'd recommend to you. Actually, if at all possible, and you should structure your life in a way that this is possible, live in several locations for at least a month at a time. And if you can't make the finances work, at least visit several locations before you buy a house. At least a dozen locations in your home country, but even better if you can travel internationally as well. And by seeing those different cities, you can say, oh, I like the mid-sized city feel, or no, I want to live in a huge metropolis like Saigon or Tokyo or New York. Or you say, look, I want to live by the countryside, have a little farm, and life is slow and I enjoy being around nature. You'll be able to accurately assess what type of city and lifestyle you want to live in. And that's what I believe is the biggest reason you shouldn't buy a house in your early 20s. You don't know exactly what needs you want to get fulfilled or prioritized in choosing a home. You don't know the industry or career ladder you're going to climb, and you don't know exactly what you want out of the city you live in. So those are some very important things to consider.